Okay, we'll take a look at the equipment you're going to need to complete this project. First of all, you're going to need some safety gear, goggles and earmuffs for the saw cutting, measuring tape and pencil and square edge for cutting the pieces of timber. Next we've got a staple gun there, and I'm going to use that to staple the plastic lining inside the planter box. I've got some nails there, 50mm nails, and basically you're going to need nails at about twice the depth of your bottom pieces of timber. Next I've got Kreg pocket hole screw attachment. We're going to use these to join the pieces of wood together. Now there's plenty of different ways you can actually join your timber together, but I'll be showing you the Kreg pocket hole screw method in this tutorial. Next you're going to need a couple of drills, or just one. I've got two here, one for a screw and one for the drill. It just makes it a bit quicker and easier when you're putting it together. Next I've got a pot of stain. Now I prefer to use the Feast Watson stain, and I go with Black Japan version of it. That gives it a pretty good aged look once it's painted. As you can see in the background here, this is a previous project I've done on some planter boxes. These ones are about 4 years old, and they've got a pretty good aged look, so we'll go with that again. Next we're going to need a saw. If you don't have a saw like this, you can use just a hand saw, but that makes it a lot easier. Next to the timber. Now timber, you're going to need treated pine, because these are going to be outdoor and they're going to be waterlogged. You can't just use regular pine, it's got to be treated so it'll last a long time. So I've got 4 planks of 90 by 45mm and 3 planks of 100 by 25mm, and I'll give you some more detail on the cut list shortly. Once we've put it together, we're going to need some gravel for the bottom to give it some drainage, and a mixture of garden soil and potting mix to grow your veggies. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so here's your timber cut list. You're going to need 90 by 45mm lengths, 4 planks, 2.4 metre long planks. We're going to cut those into 4 1 metre lengths, 4 700mm lengths, and 3 745mm lengths. So just see in the blue there, you'll need 4 planks cut to those dimensions to get the parts you need. And for the planks that go along the bottom, we're going to use 100 by 25mm. I've got 3 planks of 2.4 metre length, and I'm going to cut those into 6 1045mm lengths to cover the bottom. Okay, so here's the SketchUp design of the planter box. I've got 1000mm lengths on the front and back, and 700mm on the side. As you can see, the ends button to the next plank at each corner, and I'll be joining those together using the Kreg pocket hole screws. Once I've made one, I'll make another one and then stack them on top of each other, and once again use the pocket hole screws to join them together. Once I've done that, I'll flip it over and nail in the planks across the bottoms, being sure to leave about 30mm gap between each plank to allow for drainage. Once we've got those in place, we'll put 3 more 745mm lengths across the bottom and flip it over, and we are done. Once we get to this stage, we'll line it with plastic, put the gravel and the soil in, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so what I've done is I've measured out 745, and I'll use the first cut as a template for the other 2 cuts. So I want to get 3 pieces of 745 for the bottom. Next one I've measured out 1 metre, and I'll use that as a template to cut my 4 pieces 1 metre long, and another piece here 700mm. I'll use that to get the exact same dimensions for the sides. The bottom piece, 1 metre 45mm, and those will go the planks across the bottom, stretching the 1 metre plus the 45mm thickness of the side piece of timber. So once I've got one cut, I'll use that as a template to cut all the other pieces. Okay, so once we got our pieces of wood cut to the exact lengths, what we're going to do is arrange them in a pattern like this. So one piece of wood butts into the other end, and that piece goes along and that butts into there. And what we're going to do to join them together is use a Kreg pocket hole drill. Now what this does is it's a guide for the drill bit, so the drill goes in the end there and cuts into the wood on an angle. I'll just show you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that onto the wood, and as you can see that's going to cut an angle on like that, so I can screw the screw in. It'll go through that piece of wood and into that bit of wood, and it forms a really tight bond. Okay, so here you can see the holes drilled in the 4 pieces. So as you can see, they go in on an angle, and I'll be able to put a screw down there. It'll pop out the base of the piece and then connect to the next piece. Okay, so now we've got our 2 levels of wood complete and joined together. I'll just take a quick look at those joins. So that's the screw has gone through there and into that piece of wood, and that joint is really tight and strong. Okay, next we're going to nail these timbers across the bottom. It doesn't matter if you don't have to be too exact, but just try to leave about 30 mils between each one. Okay, so to connect these 3 bottom posts on the bottom, what I'm going to be doing is using the guide drill from the Kreg bit and some Kreg screws to drill through this piece and attach it to the bottom. Just to show you, I haven't drilled all the way through, I've just driven a little bit countersunk of the surface there. And we'll put some screws in those now. Okay, so this is the final product. We've got it all put together now. So I'll just show you a few of the finer details as we move around. Here's a good example. Okay, so just showing you the corner detail. So as you can see, the screws have gone in through the side there and joined those 2 pieces there. Now if you didn't have this Kreg system and you wanted to do it another way, you could simply drive a screw or a nail right through the end there and join them up that way. Otherwise you could put like an angle bracket in there and coming along here, you can just see I've had it flipped upside down, but there was actually screws going up through there and joining those two pieces of wood together. Now once again, if you didn't have this Kreg system, you could just drive a nail through there. You could also get a nail plate, one of those plates that goes through with all the spikes on it, and you can join two pieces of timber together like that. Or you could go back to the corner once again and put a piece of timber down here and drive screws through into each piece to hold it together that way. So there's a few different ways you can do it. Whichever you decide, you should be able to make something that suits your needs. Okay, so now the stain has been applied. That's just one coat of the Feast Watson Black Japan, and that's come up pretty nicely, and that'll actually get darker over time. So next step is to install the plastic lining inside the box. And don't forget to punch a few holes in the bottom of the plastic to allow for some drainage. Okay, so here's the final product. I have used 1.5 bags of gravel for drainage on the bottom, 1 bag of potting mix and 3 bags of topsoil, and that's filled it up nicely, and I'm now ready to plant those veggies. But please like and subscribe, and I will show you in an upcoming video how I build a wire mesh cage on top of this to stop pests getting inside. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Cheers.